start our hop around in West London. It's Chelsea taking on Brighton and Hove Albion, and this is how the two teams look in terms of the numbers. Chelsea are 11th. They've won 10 times, drawn 9, 11 losses, a goal difference of -2. And Brighton have won, they are 7th, sorry. They've won 13, drawn 7, and lost 8 with a goal difference of +16. A few weekends ago, it would have been Graham Potter hosting his former side, but that story came to an abrupt end in terms of Potter's life at Chelsea. And so it is a new team at Chelsea who are hoping to get it right. Frank Lampard and his lads are hoping to get it right and get their first win in this new dispensation, taking on Roberto De Zerbi's Brighton, who are in fantastic form. All right, let me begin our conversation. Let me get to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, you get the very first bite on today's episode of the Premier League Preview Show. Just general thoughts ahead of this game. We've seen how these teams have prepared. They both suffered losses. Brighton lost at Spurs last weekend. Chelsea lost over the weekend and then lost again in midweek to Real Madrid. They are at home this weekend. Just general thoughts on Chelsea, Brighton, as we get into what this game will potentially look like.
Fair enough. I think, for one, Brighton have basically overachieved this season, looking at how they started and then how far they've gone so far. And I believe that there is still more to expect from them, provided the team doesn't just get like some of. Obviously, they will lose some key players eventually, but I just hope they maintain their core, and then hopefully we'll see the best of them in the coming days. And for Chelsea, I think obviously they would also they've also underachieved. Under Tuchel, we saw it, and then Porter came in and he couldn't salvage the situation, and they are still on the streak. So I believe that this is pretty much a game to look forward to. Both teams have a lot to offer. For Chelsea, as far as their top 4 aspirations are concerned, I believe it's far gone. I don't think they'll be able to.
You don't even think they have a mathematical chance?
Mathematically, it's possible, but looking at the forms of the other clubs, I doubt it will be possible for them. Yes, so it's one to look forward to, but I feel that there's not really much they can get out of it. Yeah. Interesting
thoughts. Yeah, we'll talk about Brighton in a second, but let's zone in on Chelsea. Emmanuel seems to think that there are no top 4 football for them next season. He seems to think that it won't happen, even though the maths may say something else. For Frank Lampard, what can he do? Because 2 straight losses for him, he has to get this one right, at least to get the psychology of the team going, to let the fans be happy, and to give them some confidence ahead of Real Madrid's visit to London next week.
Yeah, for starters, he needs to get a recognizable striker up there or out there on the pitch, and he has to start. That striker has to start. Okay. Be it David Fofana, be it Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, that striker has to start. I think last week, because it was his first game out as the caretaker boss of Chelsea, he wanted to just maintain the team that Graham Potter left behind, and he decided not to start Aubameyang off the bench, especially when he's been out of the team for a long time. That's the last thing you want to do. In terms of game preparedness, in terms of physical game shape preparedness, I don't think he's at the apex or at the best level yet. So starting him off the bench, I think it was a good move. But after missing out on his services in the Champions League because he wasn't registered by Graham Potter, this time around he needs to start. And it is clear for all to see. Their goal scoring record is so terrible. They haven't scored in their last 3 games. And so you definitely have to give this guy a chance to be able to see out the season on a high, or give him an opportunity to see out the season on a high, because at the end of the day, you've given Joao Felix ample opportunities. You've given Kai Havertz beyond ample opportunities. Raheem Sterling has been in and out of the team because of injuries, but you've also given him a fair good shot at getting a lot of goals for Chelsea, and it hasn't worked. So you have to move away from what has been the norm over the past 3-4 months and move with something that is different. And that something that is different is by bringing Aubameyang into the starting unit and having him start. Because this Chelsea team, they create chances. Their defense is not as bad as a lot of people make it look like. And so the only problem is you have to get the ball into the net. Now N'Golo Kante is back. A lot of midfield issues are being solved. He's glossing them over. And so for me, defense-wise, midfield-wise, chance creation-wise, they are fine. But it's just the guy to tag the ball into the net. That's their issue. Once they can fix that issue, honestly, I see them being able to win this tie. But for this tie in particular, I think it will end up in a draw.
In a draw?
I think it will end up in a draw. And because the key thing is patience. If Chelsea isn't patient and they allow the pressure from the fans to get to them, Brighton will take them to the cleaners, honestly, because that is how they build their system. That's how they play football. I've seen multiple instances where Brighton defenders just stand on the ball idle. Just standing on the ball idle, waiting for as many as 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 7 seconds, just to bait the opposing team striker to make a move towards them or charge towards them. And once you do so, they just pass the ball quickly and exploit the space that striker, that forward has left in behind, and they build up quickly and then move the ball upfield. And so for me, Chelsea would have to be patient. And looking at the amount of pressure that they are under in search of results, the amount of pressure that they are under to play good football, get the wins. And on top of that, they are playing at Stamford Bridge, which hasn't been a good place for them to play this season. I honestly don't think they would have enough patience to be able to just stay off or back off Brighton and Hove Albion when they advance the ball intricately. And so for me, I see this game ending in a draw. And I'll give Chelsea a point mainly because of Brighton's not so good efficiency in front of goal. They score goals, but they miss a lot of chances. And that's the reason why I'll give Chelsea a point out of this game.
Emmanuel, let's talk about Brighton. Yao seems to think that they will get a point. We saw what happened to them last weekend at Spurs. Unfortunate refereeing decisions. I think they would have had something out of the game. But can they get it right? Second time of going to London in 2 weeks. They are facing a Chelsea team that can score. The team's not looking well. Does Brighton have what it takes to go and upset Chelsea at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, I feel, first of all, we have to bear in mind that when they met the first time around, I think they lashed them 4-1.
Yes.
And we have to keep that in mind. And this Brighton side is quite special. I mean, it's nothing I've seen before. They have very good players in there, right from the defense to the midfield and in the attack. And going to Chelsea, looking at their form at the moment, I doubt they'll be able to actually pin Brighton down and then try to hit them hard. It will be difficult for them to do that. Brighton, for taking what happened last week, during last week's game into consideration, I'm calling it here first. I feel Brighton will actually get a penalty. Yeah.
I think the officials would want to make up for what happened last week.
Yeah, there's more or less like a recurring theme. It happened with United when I think there was an incident involving Bruno. The subsequent week, they ended up getting a penalty. Tottenham had a similar situation. The subsequent week, they ended up getting a penalty. Okay. And I feel that something similar might play out at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. So that should be something that we can keep an eye on. And as for regarding what Brighton has to offer, I feel that Mitoma has been a threat. Solimatch, personally, I feel Solimatch has been their best player this season.
Okay,
yes.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and McAllister has also impressed as well. And when they have the pieces right, and Evans Ferguson is also like doing his best as well. When they have the pieces together, when they are able to do as they've done in the previous games, I feel that they can actually get something out of this game. So Brighton can actually win the game.
All right, we'll see how that one plays out. It's Chelsea welcoming Brighton to Stamford Bridge. It's very, very interesting just looking at the form of the two teams. Chelsea are going in the wrong direction. Brighton seem to be punching above their weight. They are in the FA Cup semi-final next weekend, so we'll see.